Okay, right. When you bench, for me, there's probably 4 really main factors you should always focus. And when I say focus, I don't mean, if you're somebody that does none of them at the moment, don't go away on day 1, try and do them all in one session and stick to the normal weight that you do. When you're implementing new movements, especially in bench press, you want to ensure that you're doing it on a light weight and just do repetition, just practice the movement consistently for a couple of weeks and then start to implement it at a higher weight. And if you are doing the movement on that day that you're training, do it every set. Don't just implement it halfway in. Your warm-up set and the last set, all of them need to involve the movement, because what we're trying to do is build muscle memory to a point where you do it absolutely incoherently without even knowing. It's second nature, yeah? Now I said 4 points. Point uno numero. Now I'm not saying all of them or any of them are more important than the other. I think they all possess equal importance to me. Number 1, leg drive. People go, now a lot of people are like, how do you use leg drive? What is leg drive? Leg drive is timing the press correctly to allow your legs to support the press. And you might be thinking, how the fuck do we do that? The aim, and it's harder with people that touch and go bench press, by the way, because you have less of a time frame to begin the leg drive. So it's much easier for someone who pause benches, because with a pause bench, you can time the leg drive with the press. Whereas when you're touch and go pressing, it is a little harder to time the leg drive correctly. So if you can do it pausing, or if you're someone that touch and goes, maybe look at pausing more. Otherwise, you're going to need to focus on timing it right a lot more than people that pause. So I'm going to show you what I mean. Now, you can find your leg drive position however you want. Some people tuck, some people go flat foot. I, at the moment, prefer to tuck, and I have done for probably the last year. And the reason is, when you tuck, you get quite a lot of tension in the quad. So if you're at home now and you don't know what I mean, sit on the end of your settee and imagine that you're trying to push your leg backward like this. Keep going backward, keep going backward. Now, as you get further back, you're going to start to feel tension here. Start to feel tension all there. That tension is letting us know that you've now activated that quad. Your quad's now got tension. So as you press off the ball of your foot, as you press off that ball of your foot now, that tension is part of the movement, and that's the aim. So when we go flat back, find my position, and then as you can see my feet, I'll start to back, back, back. I can now feel it in both of my quads. So now it's in both of my quads. And what you'll see is I'm going to come off, come down, pause, and make sure you focus my feet here. But the plan is my heels are going to go toward the floor as I go. Now, it isn't something that's like, oh, you'll pick it up in one session, because you won't. People don't pick up leg drive in one session. But what leg drive does is it might complete the first 15% of the motion for you. Leg drive, when implemented correctly with a really strong foundation, can give you the first 15 to 20% of your press pretty much for free. You've already got it to here. And now the rest of it is chest and tricep. Now, the whole time, you're still going to be pressing through your legs. As you do press toward the floor with that initial movement, you're still going to be pressing toward the ground for the whole movement with your feet, because it's going to give you increased stability for the whole movement. So that's number 1, leg drive. Important, really important. You need it, and it's going to help you bench more over time, absolutely. Number 2, bracing. Fucking buzzword. Everyone knows what bracing is. If you don't, I'll tell you. Bracing is where we draw as much air into the core as we can to create a stable foundation, strong core to be able to press from. Okay, you do it for squats as well. People take a belt, put it on, or they don't wear a belt either way, and they go, and they hold a strong brace. So the aim of a brace is to make your belly look as big as you can. You want to breathe all that air into your stomach and lock it tight. So when people go, how do I brace correctly? Imagine that I've asked you to stand here, take a punch to the gut off me. That's the aim. Now, when you're going to take a punch to the gut, what you're going to do, you're going to brace your stomach. Yeah, I'm asking you to do the same thing, except I want you to breathe in first. I want you to take a large breath, and then imagine I'm going to hit you in the stomach. So you're going to go, and you're going to hold that air in there nice and tight. That brace, again, is going to add more stabilisation for you. It's going to give you more improved firing potential, a lot more than someone who's just, because you lose it, you don't have the same firing fibres, activating, supporting muscles. You know what I mean? It's so much more to it when you can brace correctly. So again, I'll implement just the brace. I'm not going to leg drive. I'm going to do it one by one and show you. And you might go, oh, there's people that love to leave comments. Yeah, but look how big his belly is. I like that. I hope you will keep writing it, because that's my aim, is to make it fucking massive. So when I come back now, I'm going to go, come off. So the aim is, and the aim there, was to get as tight as I could. You heard me suck it in. Squeeze tight, come down, explode up. Now some people like to exhale on the way up. You can, no problem. But as long as you're keeping that tightness in the brace as you exhale, you've got to keep it tight. But for me, mostly, I like to start letting my breath out about there. That sounds stupid, but every repetition you learn where you do it. Because by the time I'm about here, I've still got some breath left of the movement. I'm okay, I'm not kind of like, and with no oxygen. And that is pretty much bracing. The aim is to always brace tightly. Now we're going to go on to part 3, scapular retraction. What is scapular retraction? Imagine this. If I put my finger in the middle of your back, upper middle of your back, so I can't really reach it, but like up there somewhere, up here somewhere. Put my finger in the middle of your shoulder blades. I want you to try and pinch my finger with your shoulder blades. That's the aim. You're imagining that I've got my finger in the middle of your upper back, and you've got to pinch my finger with your shoulder blades. So you're like, you're trying to do it. That's scapular retraction. But also imagine that you're trying to put your traps. You want to put your traps in the ground. You're trying to push your traps through the bench and into the fucking floor. Yeah? The reason we do this, you involve the lats. A massive part of bench press, probably a lot bigger part than people realise, is lats. Your lats are a huge supporting muscle to a bench press. Huge. Probably the biggest one overall, other than your triceps, which are a secondary to your chest. Your lats are the fucking starting basis and foundation of your bench press movement. When you scapular retract correctly, the same way you see bodybuilders when they open up their lats, similarly, this time we're retracting, but we're also bringing the chest up, and we're then causing the shoulders to roll back and keep the elbows tighter to the lat. So now the bicep and the tricep is supported by a tight lat. So when we come down, and I'm going to show you now how I do it. I know this is a gorgeous angle, I know, guys. But the aim here, at the moment, my back is flat, so I'm flat backed. So right now, because my back is flat, I've got quite a lot of mass off this side and the side of the bench. So I'm quite easy to move. So if I had a heavy load here, it could cause instability either direction. The whole point of scapular retraction is now on the, dig my shoulder blades in, and then I'm going to go onto my traps. Now I feel very, very tight, very secure, very strong foundation, and now my lats are going to support the movement. So watch as I come forward. The aim now is to come over, elbows tight, down, and my lats are already supporting the movement now. And then as I fire off, the first part of that movement was all lats. Lats were supporting that movement because of my scapular retraction. Now, another key benefit to good scapular retraction, along with good bracing, is we're decreasing the range of motion. So if you think again, with a flat bench like this, and no strong brace, I'm having to move the bar a lot more than I would if I was doing this. It's not rocket science, kids, you know? But it is, kind of is sometimes, actually. I mean, like, the thing is, I would never expect your average gym goer to know any of this. But if you're someone that wants to grow your bench, telling you this is how you do it. So that's really important. Scapular retraction is, do I think it's the most important one? Kind of, I do, yeah. I really do, but I think they're all equally important, but I do think it's so important. And then, finally, in my opinion, just as important in my opinion, is grip. And the reason I say grip is because You can have chest dominant and tricep dominant presses. They exist absolutely everywhere and anywhere. Julius Maddox is quite a tricep dominant bench presser, and he's the number one in the world. However, the likes of Sarachev and people like that have been chest dominant pressers. If you look at Swimhack, I can't think of his full name, but Swimhack is a tricep dominant presser. And it's funny how at the top of the game, there's actually quite an interesting split of different styles of pressing, wide and narrow, and both respectively all as strong as each other. But it's about finding what works for you when it comes to grip. I find what works for me is joint stacking. If you've never heard the phrase, you have now. The aim is to stack joints. And what I mean by that is when I'm gonna bench press, imagine I'm lying down now, I'm lying down on a bench. The aim is my wrist is in line with my elbow. So it's not out here or in here, but it's directly in line with the elbow. So that as I come over and come down, my arms stay straight. The joint is stacked all in one. And because we're stacked and all of this is nice and tense from a strong grip, there's no stability issues. We are in one strong motion up. There's no, or it's very straight. And the aim is to keep that joint stacked because it gives me less room for error. That's the aim. So I'll show you on the bench. Hopefully you guys can hear me. But again here, the aim for me, at the top it might look like they're not stacked, but as you can see when I come down, the wrist is stacked over the elbow, and that is intentional. We're doing that for a reason. It's to absolutely reduce the risk of stability issues, but also because when we joint stack, we're making the muscle around it have to the less. It doesn't have to worry about stability issues, that it can focus on pure tension and pressing, as opposed to being a bit more, because this now, I'm not stacked as well. And now there's more room for error. Whereas if I grip here, it gives me the ability to really focus the movement. It gives me the ability to focus it so much more than it would if I had stability issues. So what you'll find is pretty much every movement that we implement on bench press, when it comes to especially bracing, scapular retraction and grip, are all, and even leg drive and foot placement, are all foundation movements. We're doing it to increase stability, to increase how strong our foundation is before we actually press, because the stronger our foundation is, the higher the chances that we're going to be successful with the set and with the press. There we go, that's the bag of it. Now what I'm going to do is show you how it should all look together, ideally. Now bear in mind that I'm someone that has been doing this for a long time, and even me still, I'm learning this movement more. You know, Mike taught me bracing, well, more scapular retraction than anything he taught me, because I used to be a flat back presser, but Mike really taught me how to get my chest higher, and it's still something that I'm improving on even now. Now you can be someone that braces after the off, so you might be someone that goes and then braces once you're already over. Other people already go. The reason that I brace again after coming off is because I find that as you come off, you lose a bit of that retraction, because obviously when you're having to come over, you've already lost your shoulders a bit, so you have to go again. So you'll see me take 2 breaths here and I'll show you why. So to set up, I'm gonna get my back nice and tight, move onto my traps, dig my feet back. I've now got tight quads. I'll find my bar position. I'm gonna go. And now, while in this position, I'm gonna brace again, big and tight. Now that was all of it together. Leg drive, brace, scapular retraction, grip, all in one. And it's a very explosive and controlled movement. And that's the aim all the time, is to be in control. That's the main thing, is to absolutely fucking control every part of the movement. And those 4 pointers will get you there, where you control it very easily. So yeah, there we go. That's benching tips with Baker.